is a unique supranational political and economic union of 27 member states located primarily in Europe. For competitive exams, it is important to understand it not just as a trade bloc, but as a sui generis, one-of-a-kind entity with its own executive, legislative, and judicial branches. As of early 2026, the EU is navigating a period of strategic autonomy, focusing on defense integration and the implementation of the landmark Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM. 1. Origin and evolution. The EU was built in stages to ensure peace after World War II through economic interdependence. Treaty of Paris, 1951, established the European Coal and Steel Community, ECSC, among the Inner Six: Belgium, France, West Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands. Treaty of Rome, 1957, created the European Economic Community, EEC, and Euratom, establishing a common market. Maastricht Treaty, 1992, formally created the European Union. It introduced the three pillars structure, EC, foreign policy, and justice, and paved the way for the euro. Lisbon Treaty, 2007, modernized the EU structure, giving more power to the European Parliament and creating a permanent president of the European Council. 2. Membership and key groupings. The EU currently has 27 member states. Founder members, the Inner Six: France, Germany, Italy, etc. The Eurozone, 20 states, members that use the euro, as their official currency. Bulgaria is the most recent addition, joining on January 1, 2026. Schengen Area, a zone where 29 European countries, including non-EU members like Switzerland, have abolished internal border checks. Brexit, 2020, the United Kingdom became the first and only country to leave the EU. 3. The four core institutions. For exams, you must distinguish between these similarly named bodies. Institution. Role. Composition. European Commission. Executive. Proposes laws and manages daily business. One commissioner per state, 27 total. European Parliament. Legislative. Directly elected body that votes on laws, budgets. 720 MEPs, members of European Parliament. Council of the EU. Legislative. Represents state governments. Ministers meet by topic. National ministers. European Council. Strategic. Defines the general political direction. Heads of state or government plus president. Additional bodies. The European Central Bank, ECB, manages the euro. The Court of Justice, CJEU, ensures EU law is interpreted uniformly. 4. Key functions and features. The single market allows the four freedoms: free movement of goods, services, capital, and people. Trade power. The EU acts as a single entity in the WTO. It is currently finalizing a landmark free trade agreement, FTA, with India, 2026. Supranationalism. Unlike the UN, the EU can pass laws that are directly applicable in member states without needing national ratification in every case. 5. Interrelated facts for competitive exams, 2025-2026, CBAM, carbon tax. On January 1, 2026, the definitive regime of the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism went live. It imposes a carbon price on imports, steel, cement, aluminum, to prevent carbon leakage. EU-India Strategic Agenda 2025, a roadmap adopted in late 2025 focusing on green hydrogen, semiconductor supply chains, and maritime security in the Indo-Pacific. Enlargement. Ukraine, Moldova, and the Western Balkan nations are currently in active accession negotiations, though full membership remains a multi-year process. Digital regulation. The EU's AI Act, fully operational by 2026, is the world's first comprehensive horizontal regulation on artificial intelligence. Comparison: EU versus other blocs. EU versus ASEAN. The EU has pooled sovereignty, centralized laws, whereas ASEAN follows a non-interference policy with no central legal authority. EU versus G7. The G7 is an informal forum. The EU is a legal entity that participates in the G7 as a non-enumerated member. Would you like me to explain the qualified majority voting (QMV) system used in the Council, as it is a common question regarding EU decision-making?